Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verified business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Continuation for our web services. Did you guys verify the project which I have sent for web services?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool.
Chris, you want us to start the JBoss today or tomorrow?
It's not required. You can just have it by tomorrow.
Oh, okay. You get my email for the other one?
Oh yeah, I got that one. Yeah, I'll take a look at that one.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So today's class, we'll see how to create a client by using WSDL file. The top-down approach. Last class, we have seen about the bottom-up approach. From Java file, we have created the WSDL file. Today, we have already the WSDL file. So we'll see what a client was supposed to do once he has received the WSDL file. WSDL, or else you can call that as WSDL file. And also we'll verify some public UDDIs, and we'll see how to extract the WSDL file from the public UDDI. And also how to handle the SOAP exceptions and SOAP authorization, and one of the SOAP testing tool, which is SoapUI tool. We'll take a look at all these things today. So the first one is creating client from WSDL. Last time we have created a Java class, and we have generated from Java class, we have converted that to web service, and then we have generated the corresponding WSDL file, and we have written a small client. Just give me a second, please. Sorry, guys. So last class we have seen about web service and the WSDL file and the client generation, the corresponding client from server side only. Server side nothing but web server, web service, provider side. So in today's class we'll see about web service, consumer side details, and the required artifacts generation. So usually the client will receive only the WSDL file. The client was supposed to use the WSDL file, and he was supposed to generate the artifacts, nothing but the JAXB files, and also port or binding classes. So once the service provider has developed a service. He will only provide you the WSDL files. So let us come back to our application, employee service application. The employee service application this is based on our employee details. Previously we have servlets, or once we have moved to struts application, we have struts actions at the controller level. So now what we are doing is we are removing our struts action as well, and we are incorporating the web service at the controller layer. So that means the right side business part, it won't change. Let us take a look at the diagram. So everything will be same. Previously we are submitting from the JSP page to the servlet, and the right side part, the business logic processor, DAO and SDL. So this time what we are doing is we are replacing this part with web service, and the web service will contact the login processor and it will contact the employee DAO. So here instead of JSP we'll have a web service client. So the web service client will discuss with the service provider. Service provider will talk to the database and provide the details back to our client. So that is how I have developed this particular application. Let us take a look at the code. I have created a package H2K.details.service. So within my details, you can see that I have 4 methods. The first one is get user data by employee ID, save employee, which will be used to save the employee information, get user data by username. This will get the data based on username and password. This will get the data based on employee ID and password. Finally, get employee list by salary. Here it accepts from salary and to salary. Each and every method will contact the processor, and the processor will perform the DAO access, will contact the DAO and provide the result back to the caller, nothing but our web service. And finally our web service will return the response back to the client. Previously we have all the JSP pages, and the JSP pages will be going to contact our action classes, but this time all those separate action classes are specified within our web service provider itself. That's the only change. Now I have already created a WSDL and the corresponding XSD based on the data types. I just used all options. Now we want to generate the corresponding artifacts for the client. Until now, we are just working only with respect to our server side. So to create a client-related information, you just need to right-click on the WSDL file, go to Web Services. Here you can see that generate client. Click on generate client. So here you can see that service definition, it was automatically populated because we have right-clicked on the WSDL file itself. Server runtime, it's the same one. Web service runtime, we are going to use Apache CXF. And the client project, you just need to select a separate client project. I don't want to make up all the code within my application. So just create one dummy project. employee service client. I'm just creating one dummy project. Right click on WSDL, Webservices, generate client. Select Apache CXF 2.x and change the kind project to employee service client. So the required artifacts will get generated in a separate project now. Click on next. Click on finish. No need to change any of the default options. This will take time. So now it has created all the required artifacts for the client level. Go to source and you can see that all the required classes that are generated for our client code. Normally the client code will consist of JAXB class. Here you can see that get employee list by salary, salary response, by employee ID response, username response, object factory. So these are all related to our JAXB. Because our JAXB was internally used by JAXWS to generate the required employee bean to contact the service provider. And on the top, you can see that there are several other classes. The first one is employee detail provider service. This is a web service, an interface, and all the methods with request wrapper, web method, and web param details. So this is just like the same which we have seen with respect to service provider side as well. And the next one, service implementation. So once we have the interface, we need to have the implementation class as well. You can see that there is one dummy implementation available. Anyway, we are not going to use the local implementation because we need to get the information from the service only. And once of that, you can see that there is one another class which is provider service underscore port underscore client. Here you can see that it consists of main method, it has created an object of employee provider service with the WSDL URL, and it has asked for the port. From the port only, you are going to call the operations. So currently you can see that dummy code is available for calling those methods as well. If you want, you can use, or else you can just remove those methods. For all those 4 methods, the tool has generated some default implementation. Let us comment this one. And let us comment employee ID as well. Username, pass this as Steve, and password, pass this as Steve. So this will return an employee bean. Change the name. Employee bean dot get designation. Similarly, fill all the remaining details as well. get salary, get employee ID. So once after that, start the server. We just want to hit from our client side. So instead of starting at the Eclipse level, I'm starting as a standalone server. Server has started. Now trigger the request from the client side. Designation manager 7100 for Steve and Steve. Username Steve and Steve. Manager 100 and 7000. This is our request message. Create small XML. We can see the data easily. So you can see that within our SOAP body, get user data by username has requested with the username Steve and password Steve. So once after that, it has performed the database operation. Our processor has received the request and it has contacted the database. And finally, it has specified that password has matched. This is the same code or business code. Finally, it has created this payload. Nothing but the response. You can see that it has constructed the XML response, get user data by username response, and it has filled all the details: designation, employee first name, employee ID, last name, password, and salary. So previously we are sending this bean directly to our JSP page, and our JSP page is iterating through the data or the elements and displaying it to the front end. But this time, as this is a business application, we are just returning it back to the client. The client will either he can display to the user or to the console at all. Normally, when we have received the WSDL file, you are supposed to generate all the required JAXP classes and also the corresponding client class, which will be going to invoke the service provider. This is how normally the client code will be going to generate it. If you want, you guys can test all the remaining stuff as well. Anyway, those three also will be going to respond properly.
Krish?
Yes.
This is Vijay. But is it a really same way the client also tests this, or does it have a separate UI wherein he what do you call interfaces with these programs and?
See, normally the client side it will depend on the requirement itself. If we are working with respect to different modules, let us say we are working in a same project and we want the communication between two different modules. Then normally we'll go for the business side, the enterprise side. Nothing but the client will have small Java code which will interact the server side or the other module and will get the response, and based on that he will proceed further. Or else, if it is just like the normal external application, external client who will be going to interact the service provider, then it might be the case to display to the user as well.
Because I thought this will be transparent to the user, meaning there will be UI wherein user enters some name and password. Then we create the
web service. When we are using web services, it is not only related to the web related application. It can be a business application as well. When we are discussing about the business application, means it's not at all required to directly display to the client. Once after getting the response, he can process further, and based on the result, he can display it back to the user. Or let us say if this is a normal CRM application, customer relationship management application, and or else you can take the Amazon order itself. When we are discussing with the order management to inventory management, and if at all, if the order has created and processed through the inventory, and inventory will respond back with whether the inventory, the goods was available or not. So once the response has received from the inventory module, then only he can process further and he can place the order, or the Amazon guy, he will say that the order will be shipped within 3 or 4 days. So based on the inventory availability only, he can respond back to the user. So that is just like the business oriented application at order to inventory communication. Is that fine, Vijay?
Yeah, I got it. The last question is, in the Amazon example you took, maybe when I order from the Amazon UI, so from UI to the server, when the request goes, there we are not using web services? Or within the Amazon server?
That's entirely based on their interest. See, if at all, if they are expecting to have a web service communication from front end to the server side, then we can go for web service. But normally, front end to the same module, nobody will expect a web service to be available there. You can just go for a normal servlet or an action layer or the Spring related modules at that layer. When you are discussing between the modules, then only we will go for a web service communication.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Yep. Cool. See here, we are the ones writing the service and we are working on the client side as well. But you just need to imagine that the service was written by someone else and you just got the WSDL file and you are able to generate the required artifacts and you are able to communicate to the server properly. Webservices.sigga.com. This will provide you a web service search engine where you can enter any kind of names or any kind of category searches. Let us say I want to search for web services which are related to temperature. I just want to perform the conversion of temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit. Here you can see that there are plenty of web services that are available and they have already registered with sigda.com. You can just open any of the web services that are available. Let us say I'm opening this one. So here he has provided all the details, like this was available from Netherlands and the provider was daehosting.com, and this is the WSDL file, and this was monitoring since from July 5th, 2008, and the server they are using Microsoft IaaS server, and the service was available all the time mostly. If you want to check whether the service is up or not, the only thing is you just need to click on the WSDL file and verify whether you are able to open the WSDL content or not. So here I'm able to open the WSDL content. That means the service is up and running and they are available for client request as well. So now this is the WSDL file. Based on this WSDL file only, I'm supposed to generate the client artifacts. So take this WSDL file, take the content of this WSDL file, so I'll create one more WSDL at this layer itself. Temperature, so in temperature WSDL file, here they are providing Celsius to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to Celsius. So the operation, here you can see that within the binding, I have 4 operations: Celsius to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to Celsius, wind chill in Celsius, wind chill in Fahrenheit. So finally, I have one WSDL URL where I can contact the server as well. So now I got the WSDL file. So once I got the WSDL file, I can just right click on the server and I can ask the client, I can ask the web service to create client artifacts. So let us create one dummy project, temperature client. So go to our WSDL, right click, web service, generate client. Change this runtime to Apache CXF and also change the client project, temperature client. Finally, click on finish. So the client artifacts has got generated. Let us go and verify our temperature client. So here you can see that request response got generated for each and every operation request response, and also my service type, my interface and also implementation class, those two got generated, and one client class as well. In my client class, you can see that it has generated some dummy code for all the 4 methods. Let us comment all the stuff and we'll work on only one method. I'm invoking Celsius to Fahrenheit. Let us execute this one.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2Kinfosys.com. On our website H2Kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.